Another question over here. Famine Commission of 1898, it emphasized irrigation and transport development. This is correct over here. They are asking which is not correct. It focused on prevention rather than relief. Okay. British had suspended the land revenue collection. No, they were not that selfless people. They never suspended the land revenue collection. Instead, the land revenue collection was going on because they had to sustain their own industrial revolution in Britain. Okay. Uh, okay. Next question. Because some questions will be done by a little logic also. You don't have to know all the facts. Indian Council Acts of 1892, it introduced the principle of election, though the word was very carefully avoided. Yes, this is absolutely right. Members elected under this, they were officially declared as the nominated ones after recommendation from the local bodies like municipalities and chambers of commerce. So basically, it was a conception of indirect election which had been taking place over here, right? So basically, both the statements are right, and this is absolutely explaining this. Consider the following circumstances leading to Indian Council Act 1909. Partition of Bengal. Okay, this is basically your Minto Morley reform. Now, basically it was in 1909. You can say that over here, seeds of communalism. Okay, the seeds of communalism had already been sown over here in Minto Morley reforms. Partition of Bengal in 1905 created widespread agitation over here. Japan's victory over Russia in 1905 inspired Asian nationalism. Lord Curzon's policies reduced Indian representation in Calcutta Corporation and universities. The act was primarily aimed at granting full uh, parliamentary democracy to India. No, first three statements are absolutely right over here. Right? Now the people, they had widespread agitation and they were understanding the concept of divide and rule, which had been propagated by the Britishers over here, right? Definitely a very small nation like Japan, is we have studied in world history that Japan was the one which won from Russia, and after that we see that in Russia there is fall of Tsar regime and we see Russian revolution over there, right? Lord Curzon policy, yes, he had interventionist policies and he was the one who was taking control of the corporation and the universities because he believed that in all these places there were elements of national consciousness growing and he wanted to curb them down there itself. Now, full parliamentary democracy, I think it had never even come till Cripps mission plan, right? And in August mission plan 1940, they were talking about that they will allow us the dominion status, right? In 1942, when Mahatma Gandhi said that this Cripps mission is a post-dated check. So definitely over here, no. But we see that in Indian Council Act, not here, but in Indian Council Act 1919, we basically observe one word which they mention over here is about the responsible government. Okay. Which, with reference to the diarchy under the Government of India Act 1919, consider the following statements. The minister in charge, okay, what is diarchy? Diarchy was a dual rule. Okay, it was divided into transferred list, and there was a transferred list and there was a reserved list in the government. Okay, so basically the ministers in charge of the transferred list were collectively responsible to the legislature. No, the governor could override the ministerial advice even in the transferred subjects. Yes, governor had that power. Reserved subjects were administered by the elected ministers. Okay, so basically what they had done, this and this statement they had reversed over here. So the correct option over here is only 2. See over here. The transferred subjects, okay, this was handed mainly by the Indian ministers, those who had been representing education, health, agriculture, right? And these ministers, they had been individually responsible over here. And in the reserve subjects, they had law and order, finance, and irrigation, all the important parts. They were taken away by the Britishers, by the executive counselors appointed by the governors over here. They had, over here, we see that the Indian ministers, they had no control over the reserve subjects. Consider the following statements about the Montague Declaration of 1917. Okay, it promised immediate dominion status to India. First of all, never this was the thing. This conception of dominion status, first time the Britishers accepted in August of 1940. Imagine. Only this was talking about the conception or the element of formation of there should be a responsible government in India. It emphasized on the gradual development of self-governing institution. Yes. It had laid down a fixed timeline for the constitutional reform. No. Had that been the issue, तो फिर तो matter had been solved very early only, na? There was no timeline fixed for these constitutional reforms. Okay, so the answer over here is only 2 is correct over here. The Nehru Report of 1928, this is consisting of fundamental rights, right? This is consisting of, you see the elements of freedom of speech and all also in the Nehru Report 1928. It proposed joint electorates with minority reservation. Okay, so this statement is correct. The Muslim League, it has rejected the Nehru Report and proposed the 14 points over here. Both the statements are right, but it's not the correct explanation, right?